Welcome, everybody. Welcome to show number 50 of the Just Jump In live stream. Let me know if you can hear me out there. Appreciate everybody coming in. We have a nice, robust crowd that started with us tonight, and just need to make sure the audio is working. As you know, in the latest shows, I've had some old man techie issues or something. So let's see. Thank you, Gopher Girl. Appreciate it. Welcome in. You get the cookie because you were in here first. So nice to see you in here. Split Rock, hello. Welcome. Mom, nice to see you. Tim, hello. How are you? And Boxer Card, Jerry, welcome in. Nice to see you in here. All right. So a little bit of a celebration, a little bit of a look back at some of the other shows, not really highlights, but just to look at all the thumbnails that I used from way back when, just to celebrate number 50. Uh-oh, Gopher Girl's kind of spicy tonight, so watch out, everybody. So what have I been up to? Well, the airbrush is working again, so I was able to get to working through the tank and work through the chipping method, and so we'll take a look at that. I tested it earlier. Unfortunately, the camera is not great to show you the detail on there. So I'll certainly try to put some pictures out there on Facebook. I did put out a couple, but not most recently because I was up late last night. I worked on this for about, I worked for about 3 hours on it. And then give you a look at the finished New Jersey Transit flat car. Last we looked at it, we discussed what I was doing with it. I don't remember if I showed it on the stream, but we'll take a look at that. And that so to finish it, basically we needed to put a load on it, and we needed to weight it to NMRA standard weights, which took some jiggering to do it. Brad, welcome in. Nice to have you in here from the other side of the world. So I'll let's see, we'll get that out here. We'll deal with you later. Okay. So here is the flat car with the final load, with the load. It's all secured on here. So I used these two items for the weights because there wasn't a good way to really hide them and put them in here, and this would have to be really high. These items are sized for the weights, not for the car, but the inspiration is a New Jersey Transit flat car that was used as part of their catenary maintenance. And so they have one that has wire on it for the catenary, but it's like five larger spools than this. So we'll take some inspiration from that. And these were from some kind of electrical and mechanical car. This was certainly some kind of generator and was much taller on the car. This one was smaller, but it had some kind of exhaust or venting or air conditioning system or of some kind on the car as well. So I used that for the weights. And so these are single weights piled high, and these are a couple of sets of 2 weights. So there are like 4 sets in there, and I think there are 5 single weights in there. One of the things that I complained about with this build was how they have it to set the trucks in place. The center sills here are just 2 styrene beams with the flat pieces over top. So when you drill into here, there's space in there, or a little bit of space, and it's pretty thin. And so I really struggled. I added some styrene to the top of them to also even them out a little bit. And they don't stay in here that well. And that's something, if I build another one of these, I'm going to do something different, make these more solid underneath. And then, so when putting the weights on and making it, can't lose my words this quickly, and making it NMRA standard, it actually puts pressure on these wheel sets and that looseness that's underneath. And so with good track work, it won't matter. With bad track work like I have, it matters. It shows up, it slows the car down, the car kind of bottoms out a little bit. So I certainly could shim it and raise it up a little bit, but then you got to deal with the couplers. The couplers are in place as in the right place as is. So worked on that. And in all the little trinkets I 3D print, I wanted to show you this. This is not my design again, but here's your typical Katie coupler gauge. And it has little notches that go on the tracks. So somebody designed one. So they designed this little guy here. It's in black, so it's hard to see on here. And you just add the coupler and add the coupler top to it. And it actually goes between the tracks. You can move it, but it's pretty tight in there. It works just perfectly. And I tested it against this. And of course, you can't really see that real well, but it lines up perfectly. And unfortunately, the way the license works for this is I can't show up at a meeting, at an NMRA meeting with these and hand them out like I did the microset microsole holders, which I hope everybody is using because I've not spilled cents. But anyway, so because of the license, you basically can print it out for yourself and that's it. But unfortunately, because this costs, since there's no design time for me, it costs 3 cents to plus your coupler to make this instead of whatever this costs, which is a little bit more for the commercial side of it. But if I could have printed these out, I would print. If I could have distributed them, I would do that for everybody in the division because why spend so much on it, you know? Anyway, so I got that, and it works. So I have a couple because I'm bound to lose stuff. And speaking about this, so I think people question it sometime, or they're afraid of the work. There goes the other. I'm down to 2 those damn stirrups. Anyway, we'll have to fix that. But to design these, again, I use Onshape, which is an online CAD tool, and it took me in total design work 4 hours of design work. So if you're charging yourself for that, it'd probably be a little more expensive than just, you know, getting some, you know, there might be something commercial out there that helps with the weights, but I enjoy the design work. So it was about 3 hours of design work, printing, testing, going back for another hour of design work to redesign or refix it. And then I had it. So, and I did put this online. So you can look in the Twin Cities Division Facebook group. It's in there with the inspiration picture of the flat car with these items on them. So they look similar, and I'm happy with them. I'm happy how they came out. So that completes this car. So I got something actually done, which is nice. So that was finishing up that project. And then we went back to the tank, and I'll show you this. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit on this to see all this mess that I'm doing on it. So these are like rubber tire tracks, or soft plastic. And so I used course, I should have had it out and with me here. Here it is. So I wanted to try to get you some really gunky stuff there. It sort of reduces just slightly. It's a really thick acrylic material. Let's see if I can find the spot where this is. So you can see it's a really, it comes off really thick, and it's called from Vallejo. It's called Weathering Effects. This one's thick mud. There's different versions of the thick mud. There's other types of this stuff, and other companies make similar things like this. I just tend to have liked Vallejo products, so I've gone with that. And so it's just you definitely ruin a brush if you're using a brush. I don't know if you can see that. Let's go down. This is really, really thick stuff and has debris in it or something to give it that muddy look to it. Now I actually tried to put these tracks on before doing this just to see what it would look like, and I couldn't get these to close, and so we'll see how stiff these really are. They are now a little bit stiffer, and that's unfortunate. I didn't know it was gonna dry to that, so we'll have to clean that up. So lesson learned on that, don't leave it on the paper towels to dry. But I did the inside too, because you're going to see the inside of the tracks. And we'll clean this paper off eventually. And then we'll put some mud where the wheels are of it too. So that's one of the things I worked on. Got this I had a hard time finding any information on how long to let it dry. A couple of videos out there, they said they let them dry 1 or 2 days. Obviously this is pretty solid, and on there now it's pretty dry, and it's been a day or just about a day. So the other work was continuing on the tank. So I think I put pictures of this because I know it's not going to show up real well. But I did some weathering with splatter, and it was what is his name? Let's see. See if I can find that. Where did I put you? So he's mainly a military modeler. Panzermeister 36 he does different methods. So he doesn't just do one method. And so this was just one of the things that he tried at some point. So let's see here. So if you just look up, if you just use the @ sign when you search and you put in, where did it go? It is not cooperating with me, my computer here. Oh my goodness. If you check his stuff out, he does all kinds of, he also does railroad modeling. There we go. So all you need to do is type in the @ sign Panzermeister 36, search, and his channel will come up. and you'll be able to see the different methods that he does. But what he did was to put in mud splatter. He used an airbrush, but he used it in a different way. So he would put his paint on the brush, and he'd come in behind it. So he would have his paint on the brush, he'd come in behind it, and with the air, whichever direction he wants to go. So if he wants the splatter to go that way, he'd be spraying from there, and it would spray off the bristles in a splatter pattern. So that's why I wish I could show you. I wish this would come out on the camera better. You can try this if I can get in the frame here. That would probably be more helpful. Right. So I was splattering in that direction with the paints, and it's really grainy and hard to tell. So I was splattering in that direction, and you can really see it over here, but just not with this camera. Someday I'll make some money and actually be able to get a nice professional camera. Does not come out well on there, but I'll try and get some better pictures and post them again in the Facebook group for the Twin Cities division. These come out. These are big splatter spots, so they can't come out. You can see them a little bit. Let me see if this helps at all. Not really, a little bit, but anyway, please trust me. It's a really easy technique to use, and it actually works. So the other thing that I did was use the hairspray chipping technique, but with this, it's the idea with the tank is it's still going to be kind of olive drab underneath, so it doesn't quite look like things are scratched, I guess is the best word that I'm trying to find. But it does show like wear, and it's much more pronounced on camera. It's much more subtle in person. But the idea here is this is where they're stepping up to go up top here. So that's going to be worn more. Picking up some other worn spots. Tried to get some wear around latches back there. This I did when I forgot the layer of varnish, but it came out decently anyway. And then I did some good taco sauce highlighting, and then some really bad, and had trouble getting it kind of spilled basically here, and getting that up even with mineral spirits was pretty tough. Here you can see some wear. Again, let's see if I turn that off. How much it's a little more. It's muted here on here. Looks much better again with pictures. But that works really well. So that's got the olive drab, and it's like a Spanish olive on top. And then we'll also, once we get a clear coat on it too, we'll get a matte clear coat. I think it'll work pretty well. Here you can see some of that work as well. did a little bit of painting because of my shaky hand. Didn't come out very well, and I don't want to try and fix it because I'll make it worse. I may still try and paint that metal, but there's just a few more parts to put on, just a few small parts left on the front end. You can see here added there. They have lights, I guess, painted like a chrome color. And then some of these hooks, there's some more of those to get on there. Here, this one, that's a decent shot to show some of the splatter that happened. I like the more subtle stuff though, and I like where it came out, like on the wheels, on the axles, I should say. In person looks much better. But we'll also get some mud splatter, some of this stuff on here once we get the tire tracks on, and then finish the details, and then we should be done with that project. And then I'll have to get back working on the AP stuff. Get back working on that in earnest, and continue to build cars and get back to working on the station. I don't know if I'm going to make it up. Funny Split Rock, funny. But you learn a lot by. I'll watch anything that can give me tips. I'll watch crafters, and I've been on a kick watching acrylic painting videos a lot lately. It just kind of gets my creative juices flowing and makes me want to do stuff. I haven't yet tried any of those painting tips, but it's got me going again. I finally got the needles. I still have to send them back. The other, I printed out the label. It's boxed up, and I just need to get to the post office at some point and send off that the airbrush that isn't mine. But I got the needles, and they work fine. Everything's good, and the needle safety cap as well. So that's got me moving. With the amount of paint it takes for, it was this part. This part is a separate part. It's held on by a little piece in there. This part and this part takes a lot of paint, and so I had to do the olive drab and then the Spanish olive. The handheld battery versions that I have, they heat up, and they if you're spraying for a while consistently, your battery's going to slow and your spray is going to slow and everything. And I didn't think about it, and I was like, I have another one. I have the old one. It just has a slightly different connection, but it works fine. And so I use that and then charge the other one, and then charge that one, and went back and forth just for the hours of painting. That's where I am at. What is everybody else working on? I know Ken's working on still probably cutting down trees and killing trees for people just to view trains and that sort of thing. Wondering if you got your machete, Ken, if you're out there. And I feel like there's something I forgot, and that's going to nag me this whole time that we're talking. But so let me know what you're all working on while I figure out what's nagging me about. Oh, one of the other brilliant little things, and I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but I with the amount of painting this was going to take, I also didn't want to keep, film this little the little bottle, the feeder is going to run out quick when you're doing a big job. I didn't take into consideration that in both the old version of this and the new one, it comes with other things. I could use this, which is much bigger, but I didn't think of that. I was thinking, how could I use my 3D printer to resolve this? And years ago, I bought bottles that I wasn't using because I wasn't doing big paint jobs. I had N scale when I started, but I bought these plastic bottles. So I found somebody who did a funnel, because I made my own funnel. A couple years ago, I made my own funnel out of styrene and tape, some frog tape, and works fine. It's a little messy in there. I worry about stuff chipping or drying and chips getting into the paint and stuff. But I'm like, okay, I have a 3D printer now. Let me find one. Well, I did find one. And they showed it was the same bottle, but the size of the bottle wherever it was sold must be slightly different. And it was too big. It wouldn't fit in. So I was able to reduce the size, and it fits right in and works brilliantly. And so I have two of these, so I can go from one to the other as needed, or if it's different paints I'm using at the same time, and I don't want to go clean one of these, it works brilliantly. And so then I can, make large bottles of this. Now I have a large bottle of this that's all separated, but there you go, a useful tool. So I think little by little, I'm paying off. I'm paying off the printer little by little. I mean, I think you have to be high volume to get to that point where you've paid off the printer with the amount of money you save on, if I had to buy this for $16.99 or $15.99 or $10.99 or $9.99, whatever, and this costs 3 cents to make, you figure in those savings. Then when you're doing work on something like this, if you want to figure in your labor cost, it's going to take longer, but eventually I'm going to pay that off over time. And I'm, and I try to use it for household stuff too, that we would normally go out and buy. I just printed out for an outlet cover with a shelf on it so that I can place stuff, because like in this room I'm using all the outlets, so I have one where I can put my phone on top of it and charge it and place the phone there. That's worth it instead of going out and buying one. And believe it or not, they have, not, I'm sure you believe it, but they have them on Amazon. You can buy them on Amazon, but there's no reason to buy it when I could print it. And so that wasn't something I designed, but I printed it. So anyway, so I'm finding uses for it, and eventually at some point I can say it's paid off. And I know that's not for, it's not for everybody. People don't like the design work. You don't have to design. So you can buy a printer, and you can get free prints. You can pay for the files, which are still much less than paying for the item retail. So if you wanted to make your own stuff, let's say for your household, you could do that. And you don't have to do any design. Um, the I just happen to like the design. It feeds in well with the model making stuff. So I'm looking forward to continuing to build parts of um, the passenger cars. I don't know. I mean, I could spend the time, and I probably can, as you know, on the cab car. I'd cut out the doors, and they're all janky the way I cut. You know, measurements were okay, but lines weren't great, and but it worked. And from afar, it'll work. Up close, it doesn't look so great. But could I design them? Quite possibly. And so that's why I was testing design for the engine that we looked at a couple weeks ago. I could do the same for this, and I can modify these things, or I could just build one from scratch. And I was testing that, and so I will still pursue that. I think the part that I would have most problem with is designing something ribbed this tightly. I'm not super good at that, and so it might not be great there. But maybe I could cut the roof off of here and add my own size. Who knows? But I definitely do like the design part of the hobby. And so this week, Mom, I didn't get back to the bench. I will definitely get back to the bench, but haven't done that yet. So no, and Ken, I get that, but I'm talking about, people talk about, the cost of, like I said, something like the outlet cover. You can buy the outlet cover with a shelf on it. There's all kinds of versions on Amazon. But if I can make it for $1.50 and I don't have to design it, there's a benefit to that. So, and there are plenty of versions out there. So I just pulled up outlet cover with the shelf. I'm seeing $9.99, $11.89, $14.99, $15.99, $15.99, $9.99. Cost me $1.50 in materials and no design time. So it cost me $1.50. And maybe a little grease, because I put grease in, I grease the wheels every month or so. Definitely cheaper than a bass boat. Now I'm going to go try and find a bass boat and print one for you. It may float, but you probably won't fit in it. Speaking of which, I am printing something out, and it's telling me that the filament's stuck. So I'll have to go take care of that afterwards. Yeah, so that's what I have been up to. Ken, you should just have the people that come over clean your basement for you. Just be like, if you want to see trains, then you've got to clean them. You got to clean the basement, make it spotless in order to operate. Of course, me making that suggestion, I'm setting myself up, I'm sure, for a lot of work. So. And just want to mention, Panzermeister 36, he's really, really good, but he's not the only one that's really good out there. There are plenty of military modelers that are very good, airplane modelers and car modelers. I kind of want to do a car model. My brother and I did car models when we were younger. I did the snap together models because I was really young, and he did the other ones. We didn't really get into paints and things like that. We just kind of did the car models that were probably for the younger kids, and then we got into rocketry, model rockets. But I keep wanting. I see car models all the time and car modelers and their tips. I learned wet sanding. Not that it was hard to learn. They the wet sanding technique. I didn't do a great job on this one, but I was trying to fill gaps on here, so I did. I mean, it's noticeable on here. You can see some of that, some of the putty on there and stuff, but I learned that technique from the car modelers. So you can learn from anyone. I learned lots, like I said, crafters. I learned from them, and so I don't think I'm going to the picnic tomorrow. I was talking about it with Gopher Girl. The heat index is a concern, but still thinking about it. That's why I haven't RSVP'd. So where is Nordicon? Split Rock, is that? Do I have to go like to Greenland or Finland or somewhere? Mr. Nightshade. Is Mr. Nightshade, is that, do we just search Nightshade or? I don't think I came up with the right Mr. Nightshade. So it's in September. They call it's the largest scale model contest and exhibition. I listened to a couple of podcasts that talk about shows, and I don't remember them mentioning this show. But, it's in Invergrove Heights at the Veterans Memorial Community Center, Saturday, September 27th, 9 to 4. Why is this a pain? There we go. That's their website there. See, they got a Facebook group too. For the Facebookers out there. So I wonder if it's this guy. Is it Night Shift Models? Oh, Night Shift. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm subscribed to him. That's what it is. Martin Kovac. Isn't he like, is he, he says from Eastern Europe. So like Czechia or somewhere. But yeah, I just was watching one of his. There's his, just search, just put the @ sign in Night Shift Models, just copy and paste that in the search and you'll come up with his channel. So. I don't think I'll be entering this tank into any of Nordicon's anything. But I'll have to check that out. I hope you're not barbecuing in the basement, though, with the hot dogs and stuff. Because it's going to be hotter than 70 degrees in there if you do that. Do you find it intimidating at a show like that when you're, or I think what I'm trying to do is get over that intimidation. I think with the modelers retreat, that's helped. You know, that I don't, you know, it's my personal opinion. I don't think my models stack up against others. But, you know, going to the modelers retreat, I don't think of it in that way. I try to talk to people and learn from them. Which reminds me, I want to get some more help on doing the plaster casting. I can't remember his name, but he was the last clinic last time, and he was doing the Stone Arch Bridge. And I want to figure out how he, you know, how to do that for the bridge part of my station, instead of using the foam like I was going to. But I think what he did is he cut the mold to shape, poured it, and then pulled that out, scribed in the stone, then poured another mold together over that, using that as the master. And then he was able to then fill that mold. If we, you know, I'll have to connect with him. I don't think he has a presence online, or I couldn't find it. If anybody knows how to contact him because I don't think he's coming to our meetings or anything. But I'd like some advice again on the materials that he used and everything, because I think that will come out nice. I'm still designing it, but it'll come out nice that way. I've become such a wuss. Yeah, inside would work better for me. But you know, I also need to find a way to get out of here for a little bit anyway, because I know that Gopher Girls high school best friend is in the area, and I know they'll want to get together, and I don't want to be anywhere near their mischief. So, yeah. Ken, have you completed any more of your sections of your layout, or are you still working to get those done? What are you using for your road, Ken? You guys are going to get me to be a regular operator, aren't you? One way or another, I'm sure. Oh, and tell Diana, by the way, that we love the blanket. That was like the best win I got at the from the raffle. But Gopher Girl no longer has possession of that blanket. It now belongs to the dogs. But it's so fluffy. So, gasket material. So his roads, if I only visited his layout once, but it was like a thin road material. It was really flat too. We have our younger dog Bailey just loves being under blankets. And so she digs, she always has her nose out, but she always digs under the blankets. And yeah, she steals them all. That feels weird. Gopher girl, I think they're trying to tell me I have to go out tomorrow. Was it a knee replacement? I think that's what she was doing. Was it a knee replacement? It is. So for some, there's some residual pain and everything. Some there isn't. But everyone I've heard that has had knee replacement surgery says you've got to do the rehab to get the knee in the right, get the knee right and ready to be used. So where are these other ones going? Got that one. Got those on that one. This one. Oh, this one I gotta wait till I glue on. So my aunt has both of her knees done, and she had incredibly hard time, incredibly bad knee pain, but it's gotten better. And so she's better for it. And then I've had some others, some other people that have gone through it and just, they swear by it that it worked out well for them. So I'm learning with super glue that you really don't need a lot. And I would think, oh, I'm not putting a lot on. Some people just do these tiny little droplets. And so I always struggle with that. And I always think I need to add more. But trying to mitigate that. And so I don't use as much. And then you don't have glue marks all over the place too from using too much. I think that's that. This last piece fits in like, let's see, this piece here. So I've been, so this one's going to go like this, but I think I got to paint that a little bit better and then wait till I'm ready to glue that on. That's good to hear. Happy that she's doing well. Oh gosh, I gotta pull this one off too. Try and go slow with this one, see if I can. This is where it's really wavy. And it's gonna take some cleanup. I might just have to see if we can do this. So Let's go to so noon to 3 tomorrow is the picnic. Did people RSVP with the food they're bringing? This is some sticky stuff, this acrylic. I guess that's the point. That'll be hidden. As long as that fits into the recesses, we should be fine with that. This is sticky stuff to put on, and sticky stuff on here too. Let's see if we'll be able to do this. Chips don't make it in our house. I think I brought, for one of the trunk sales, I brought chips. We never open them at the trunk sale. I just don't think anybody ever opened them. And we brought them home. And boy, they didn't last long, those little bags of chips. Did this thing shrink? Holy shnikes. So I think I'm going to have to clean this out, actually. Let's see. I hope nobody's bringing any healthy food tomorrow, because that nobody wants healthy food at a picnic. Although that's not true. Every once in a while, some good fruit gets that sweet spot for you. But for the most part, I wouldn't want to bring anything like that. Not that I'm going to move this around too much, but it's nice that it's set up to have the wheels be able to move. Now I just gotta see if I can get this thing to stay. Anybody have any tips on getting this rubber to stay in place? Let's see if this kind of got to get that between X, because not sure the best way to make that. Doesn't really snap in. So if anybody has any suggestion on how to get these together, there's not a lot of give on this. Yeah, it's like I need an extra hand in here or something. Has anybody else built military models or other models besides model railroads? And Gopher Girl, what am I going to do when Ken convinces me that I got to try S-scale? That's the danger of going over there for any length of time, is by the time you get out of there, you're going to be doing S-scale. Okay. I think I'm going to have to find some videos on how to get this thing to kind of come together in place. I had trouble doing it. It's so flexible, this track. There are models out there where they do plastic or metal like the real thing. And then when I get this eventually in here, does anybody have any suggestions on how to make it stay in here? This is very flexible rubber. So I'm wondering how. Also, I was wondering this. I've must have missed, like, doing it on a weekly basis. Must have missed, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 shows in the year. Would be a little further along. But I was thinking about that. I don't know. I know that there's a couple of shows that I didn't do because I was traveling. Then, of course, we had the string of like 3 or 4 weeks of tech issues. Not that I'm trying to get to some record or something. Just curious. Is that because of the Legos that I can't do that, Gopher Girl? Is that because your Legos take up all the room? I am wondering if it's flexible enough, if I can get this to stay in here, to then be able to stretch it over the wheels. But just getting it to stay in place is not easy, apparently. I'm out of train. I'm not out of train money. I have a few dollars. I mean, if Ken, charges an entrance fee, I'm probably not going to be able to. And an exit fee. If he charges an exit fee, I won't even be able to come home. But you'd probably like that, won't you, Gopher Girl? Yeah, so can sort of get it in there, but it's not staying. I'm going to have to see if I didn't really see anything but weathering on these tracks, weathering videos, and most of them were not rubber. So I don't know if I'll find any tips or tricks on this, but it's certainly not going to stay. Get it in there, but it's not staying. So I'm going to have to work on that this weekend, I think. So, you know, when you have the smoke detectors and the battery runs low, and ours, you don't even need a battery. The battery's in there for backup. Ours are centralized and run off the electricity. So I suppose if the electricity goes out, you need them. But I'm at work one day, back in the day when we used to work in the office, and I get a call saying I have to come home. I have to come home. I'm like, it's an I'm like, is it emergency? And she's like, no, it's not really, but sort of an emergency. And she goes on to explain that the smoke detector, the batteries are old or whatever, and the smoke detector is beeping, and she can't handle the beep. So I had to drive home at lunch, pull the smoke detector down, take the battery out, and then drive back to work. So so she went and bought, the last time I traveled, I think out east without her, she went and bought batteries, even though they weren't beeping and they didn't need to be replaced. And she insisted I replace them all in all of the smoke detectors before I left. So this is a heck of a project. And like I said, it wasn't even with this weathering effects on it that's the problem. It's just how tight of a fit it is and how flexible the material is the issue. And I'm, if you do the same thing 100 times and it doesn't work, you think, oh, it's going to work the 101st time, and then it doesn't. So you just keep doing the same thing over and over. And that's what I'm doing tonight. Just doing the same thing over and over again. And the more I manipulate this, I'm worried that I'm going to just break it. I don't really want to do that. Really like it to fit and stay in place, but I might just need to put this on and find some glue for it. Because if I pull this through, so that's been pulled through, there's no way that I'm going to be able to slip this on. I don't think. Or maybe I will. We'll see when we get to the back here. Nope. It popped apart because it's so soft. So I'll have to find some glue for it. Maybe put some kind of pin in there or something. I don't know, but open to any suggestions there. All right. So start with that. So you know it fits in there, but it's too soft. It doesn't stay. So I'll continue to work on this. Couple of things left. This is a 1/35th scale. So the other thing I was thinking, so here's the head of one of the little guys. He's just part of his body in there. It comes with like 5 other army men. So can practice painting army men in flesh colors and things like that. So that'll be the last part of this. hopefully I'll get this done. Get this a little bit more weathered up, and hopefully I'll have something close to done next week. But want to say thank you for all of you who are my loyal fans and come see me screw up my models every week, and appreciate your patronage, and remember to just jump in and have a great weekend, everybody.